for like 5 years. And when I mean the life of Raleigh, they live in a good life. They've got tickets to the Cardinals games, every game, and you go to a game, you got to buy the ticket, you got to buy a couple beers, and pay for parking. Before that's $100 a person outing, right? And they're doing that 14, 15, and then they get season tickets to the Avalanche. They live in Phoenix, whatever. And pretty soon they got 20 grand in credit card debt. Now. So you get 20 grand in credit. Michael's like, it was higher. I know it's higher. Hold on. So it gets to 20 grand, and Michael's mom, she is a lovely woman, and she's doing a job. She works for a hospice, which is dealing with people that are dying. And so they're dealing with older people that are dying, and it's a great job. She loves her job, but it doesn't pay a lot. It's a nonprofit. It only pays, like 20 grand a year in money. So she is, right? She gets to the point where she can't pay the minimum amount. And as soon as you can't pay the minimum amount, bam, they hit you with a late fee. And the late fee might be $100 a month. And then the next thing you know is they hit you with an over your limit fee, another $100. You can't pay, so they're charging you $200 a month in fees because you can't pay. And in addition, your credit card rate doesn't stay at 14%. As soon as you miss that first payment, it jumps to 33%. 33%. In like a single year, it goes from 20 grand to 40 grand. Now, the credit card companies don't like it when you miss payments. And they start harassing you. Now, they're not supposed to, but they do. And they start calling her. They're calling her work. They're calling her family members. They're calling her at all times of the day. She calls us up after a year of trying to deal with this debt, and she is in tears. I cannot pay my credit card debt. Mom, how much do you have? I owe 40 grand. 40 grand. Why didn't you call us when you owe 20 grand? You owe 40 grand. And so we give her like $3,000 like a month just to keep the interest from growing. Not just to stop the calls. It's not paying off the 40 grand. That's just to keep it from growing. And she has to sell her house here in Silicon Valley, which was her retirement income. She was using a renter. That was going to be her money for retirement. She has to sell that house just so she can pay off this credit card debt. And as soon as she had financial troubles, guess what happened to this guy? He left. Oh, I'll help you out. As soon as she cut him off, he departed, never paid a dime for that, all that money they spent. And she ends up selling her house. So you do not want to be 65 years old and having to sell your house to pay off your debts. She's still working. I don't know how old she is now, 74 or something? We should probably
72.
72.
She's going to go down to 3 days in January.
She's going to be able to go down, but she's
3
still
days.
working.
Oh, she wants to work.
She wants to. She loves her job.
She likes
She really does. Okay. So, surely, Mr. Larson, so credit card companies want to get you looking credit cards while you're young. Surely, Mr. Larson, you do not have one of these things. One of these slavery cards, as you call it. Oh, wait. Let me show you this. I have a credit card. I love look at this. Woo. Let's get a $20,000 credit limit. Let's get a big, $20,000. Now, they would raise it higher if I asked. I could go right now and just buy a small car. Can't buy if I asked, they'd probably raise it to 40. I could buy a nice size car. I could buy a small car right now, just on my credit card. No signing loans or anything. Just ching, ching, and there I walk out. Okay, I love my credit card. Now, why do I love my credit card? I love my credit card because of this thing, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Now, this is passed in the 60s when they're first starting to pass out credit cards. It would not get passed today. As a matter of fact, it hasn't been updated for ATM cards. And I'll tell you what that means. If I get my credit card stolen, all that I'm liable for is $50. That's it, $50. And then the credit card company has to eat it. I'm not liable if they're stuffed with my credit card. Versus I get my ATM card stolen, and they got my PIN. Let's say they get my PIN, and they withdraw $20,000 out of my savings account. It's gone. I go to the bank and say, they took my money out of my savings account. They go, oh, well, find them and sue them and get your money back. I'm like, what do you mean find them and sue them? Some hacker in Russia, hacks in, empties your bank account. I'm not a cyber warrior expert. I don't know how I'm going to get my money back. I'm not going to find them and sue them in Russia. And you kind of laugh, but I used a credit card, thank God it was a credit card, at a Lucky store. Somebody had replaced the chip inside it, so it sent the information not just to the credit card company, but to Russia. And somebody charged on my credit card $5,000 worth of wine, and it cost $5,000 to ship it. They charged $10,000 on my credit card. Guess how much I owed? Nothing. It was a freebie because it's credit card. I'm only limited 50 bucks. Now, if that had been my ATM and they had my PIN, I'm not reason. I didn't like give my card away. I didn't even drop it somewhere. They took it right out of the business, straight to Russia, right? If that had been my ATM, they had emptied my account. Find the guy in Russia and sue him.
Wait,
Russia. It was from Russia. They were shipping they're shipping the wine to Russia, so I'm assuming it was in Russia. Okay. So this is do you see what I'm saying? So I love my credit card. They haven't updated. I love this Fair Credit Reporting Act. The other thing is, imagine. Michael and I are Raiders fans. His dad is a Raider fan. We had Raider season tickets, and we would go to all the games. And I got to be kind of a pain in the butt because I'm working as a teacher, and I like coming in on Sundays to grade papers and get all caught up. And so plus the Raiders were kind of bad for the last decade or more. And so we decided we're going to save our money, the $2,000 we spent on season tickets, and we're going to buy a big screen TV. And so I got, not just I got a 55-inch high-definition Sony with stereo sound. It is beautiful. I still love this TV after like 10 years. I still love this TV. It's a beautiful thing. And so it cost, at the time when they were new, it cost $4,000. So I paid $4,000. Now, do I want to walk around with $4,000 in my pocket to pay for this thing and get robbed, right? So I don't want to do that. I don't feel safe walking around with $4,000. And just imagine all the robbers. We'll just stand in front of this Best Buys and we'll just rob people as they go in. No, I don't want to do that. So instead, I can use it to pay for things. And so I don't have to worry about being robbed because I got the Fair Credit Act in my back pocket. The other nice thing about this Fair Credit Reporting Act is, let's say that it is damaged. So the TV does not fit in my car. Okay, so I have to have it delivered, right? So let's say when I get home, they deliver to me, I open the box and this thing is damaged. Let's say the screen is cracked and won't open. Now, if I paid cash, now imagine you're the merchant. Let's see, I got somebody who bought a big screen TV, probably not going to ever buy another one. I could give him $4,000, return his money, or I could just say, nope, you dropped it, I'm not paying for it. That's what a lot of merchants will do. They will just say, okay, that's your problem, you must have dropped it. It was fine when we delivered it, it's your problem. What do you have to do? You have to hire a lawyer, pay $1,000, you got to sue the merchant, you got to win a case, and maybe you'll get your money back, right? I don't want to do that. Meanwhile, under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, I claimed that the goods were damaged. I called the insurance company, the credit card company, and they stopped payment to the merchant. They're required to investigate. Now, do you think USA Credit Card is going to come to my house to investigate this? Do you think they do that? No. What do they tell? They call the merchant up and say, settle with this guy, make this problem go away. And the problem goes away. Why does it go away? Because this Best Buy, whatever, all of their money is coming in. Nobody walks in with cash. Everybody pays for these big items using credit card. So their biggest vendor, their biggest income source is actually the credit card companies. And the credit card companies say, we're not going to pay you the money until you fix this. Guess what? They fix it. And I don't have to hire a lawyer. I don't have to do anything. I just made a call and it's settled. And I get a new TV that works. I love the Fair Credit Act. Okay? Now, I said I use it to pay for things. I don't use it to buy things. The difference is I saved that $4,000 up in advance. When I used it to pay the $4,000. When the credit card bill came due at the end of the month, I paid it all off. I paid it all off. Versus buying. I see a lot of people buying stuff. Oh, we'll just go out, there's a sale at Macy's, I'll just go bag me up, boom, look at that, I got a big savings, look at that, I saved 10%, woo, and they're just buying stuff. But at the end of the month, they can't pay for it. They bought a lot of stuff, they can't pay for a lot of stuff. Okay, so this is Mr. Larson's Financial rule number one. I know it's un-American. I know it's un-American. I'll explain it in a second. But I want you to spend less than you make. Oh, Mr. Harrison, I don't want to spend less than I want to spend more than I make. How do you spend more than you make? Just credit cards, you know. You're gonna, if you can't pay it off, if you can't pay your credit card off at the end of the month, you spent more than you made. It's a sure sign. At the end of every month, you got a little white flag. I couldn't pay my credit card. I spent more than I made. It's a real easy thing, ladies and gentlemen. You got to spend less than you make. And I know this un-American. When I was a kid, the words to us as kids: put your money into savings accounts. Help America, save, invest, save, give your money to the bank so they can invest in companies, so they can take that money and they can invest in the future and build new plants and make new factories. And we're helping America by saving. That's the lesson I got told. Have you heard that lesson ever? Yeah. Have they told you to put your money into, or do you hear this message? America's in a recession because American consumers aren't spending enough. If American consumers would only spend more, then there'd be more people buying things, and that would help the economy turn over. And that's the lesson we hear today. The more you spend, the more you're helping America. I'm telling you, forget that message. I'm telling you, the un-Americans spend less than you make. If you spend more than you make, you're going to go bankrupt. If you spend less than you make, you're not going to go bankrupt. Again, how do you spend more than you make? Credit cards.
I wanna be a billionaire, so freaking bad.
I do want to be a billionaire.
Things I
Michael's cousin is a billionaire.